let's continue on with waiver wire hitters. And in shallower leagues, Bryson Stott had his breakout game of the season on Sunday. He went 2 for 3 with 2 socks and a shoe. That's 2 home runs and 1 stolen base. He is down to 77% rostered. It's weird that he's been sitting against lefties when he was actually really good against lefties last year. He hit 282. So I know it's been a slow start for him, but just kind of find it weird. They're not, I don't know, having more confidence in Bryson Stott early in the season. Jonathan India had himself a breakout weekend. He went 4 for 4 with his first home run. He added 4 RBI in that game. I'm seeing a bunch of question marks here.
Yeah, you put 4 home runs. Yeah. You said added 4 home runs. I was like, wait a minute. That doesn't sound right. That would have been. Yeah.
That would be a breakout weekend, right?
Absolutely.
Jonathan India also had multiple hits on both Friday and Sunday as well. The StatCast numbers actually look pretty good in terms of the expected stats for Jonathan India. Michael Garcia really picking things back up. He had 5 hits this weekend. He added 4 RBI and a stolen base over his last 7 games. He's batting .385 with 1 homer and 3 steals. JD Martinez made his Mets debut on Friday, 2 for 4 with an RBI. He was in the cleanup spot on Saturday. He is 60% rostered. Chris, in head-to-head points leagues, some of the shallower formats, would you be particularly motivated to make sure you add any of these names? A Bryson Stott in India, Michael Garcia, or JD Martinez?
India seems under-rostered at 54%. I know he slid down the lineup as his cold start has gotten on, but remember, he was opening the season hitting primarily at the top, and I think he could get back there more consistently. I think he's a lot better than he's played so far this season. Expected stats back that up. So I think India at 54% is definitely under-rostered. Everyone else, I think, is probably okay. Stott, 77% rostered for a guy who's not playing against lefties. That seems fine. Honestly, maybe even a little high. And then Michael Garcia, 20 RBI is wild for a leadoff hitter.
Yeah.
That is really weird for a guy who, like, we've talked a lot about him, but he actually been that good. And so the fact that he's got 20 RBI is kind of wild. I expect him to be better than he has been. It's a 660 OPS, but it's mostly just a really low batting average. He is hitting for more power. So I think Michael Garcia, like, if you see him out there and you want to take a chance, I still think there's some upside there.
Ryan Jeffers continues his nice start, 2 for 4 with his 5th home run on Saturday. He added 3 more hits on Sunday. He is 60% rostered. So, Scott, for those in one-catcher leagues, last week, the flavor of the week was Travis d'Arnaud. How do you feel this week? Would you stick with Travis d'Arnaud or maybe go with Jeffers in a one-catcher league?
I think my preference would still be d'Arnaud, though Jeffers and the Twins, they have the better matchups. So,
may I make the case for Jeffers?
Sure.
He's hitting second. Mm-hmm. He is playing DH a lot for the Twins. I think he's DH'd like 3 of the last 6 and 5 of the last 12. He's started 21 of their first 27 games. He's playing pretty close to every day. Now, partially he has like a 950 OPS and he's not going to sustain that, but I don't know. Anytime you see a catcher getting significant DH opportunities, I kind of think it makes them like a must roster and close to must start player, certainly in any 2 catcher leagues.
Yeah.
Just because of the edge it gives you.
And we have talked about Jeffers a lot. If you're asking me rest of season, just by virtue of, okay, Sean Murphy's going to be back at some point, I would prefer Jeffers. But, one catcher league, I'm not sure you're marrying yourself to either of these guys anyway.
Absolutely.
In a 3 outfielder league, who would you prefer? Alex Verdugo, who, as I mentioned, had a big weekend and he's now batting cleanup, I think at least against right-handed pitching for the Yankees, or Andy Pages, who added 5 more hits this weekend. He has started all 11 games since being called up. He is 51% rostered. Verdugo or Pages?
Pages every single time.
So I had a choice between the 2 in a points league and went with Verdugo, because the strikeout disparity, I think, is going to be significant enough to overcome the power disparity there. But if you're talking a categories league, yeah, Pages. And Pages probably has more upside regardless of the format. Just, is he going to meet that fully? He hasn't walked yet, which isn't so great for points leagues. Overall, though, I'm pretty encouraged by what I've seen from Pages. I just don't know that we're going to get a lot of points league use out of him yet.
3 names in 5 outfielder leagues. P. Crow Armstrong is off to a nice start with the Cubs. In 4 games since being called up, he has 5 hits, 1 homer, 4 RBI, 34% rostered. He has 7 games this week, only 1 lefty on the schedule. Joe Adell, who we spoke about. Willie Castro has third base, shortstop, and outfield eligibility. Over his last 5 games, he has 11 hits, 1 homer, 5 runs, 6 RBI. Let's throw Joey Loperfido in this mix as well. How would you guys rank Crow Armstrong, Adell, Loperfido, Willie Castro?
Loperfido slight edge over Adell, as we talked about at the top of the show. And I don't know that I care that much about the others too. You know, it's kind of a big chasm there between the 2 groups of 2. But I will say Crow Armstrong 3rd, Castro 4.
Agree with that order.
Deep league infielders. Trey Lipscomb had a strong weekend for the Nats. He had 8 hits, 5 runs scored, and a steal. He has 5 steals in 19 games played this season. Joey Ortiz's playing time is picking up for the Brewers. He went 2 for 4 with his first career home run on Friday. He added 4 RBI. He's 10% rostered. Ben Rortvedt could be a thing, I guess, in 2 catcher leagues. He went 3 for 3 with a stolen base on Saturday. He's betting 378 early on. It's a pretty small sample size. Carlos Santana heating up for the Twins. He's homered in 3 straight games from Thursday through Saturday. Josh Rojas was moved up to leadoff against right-handed pitching. He hit a solo homer on both Friday and Sunday. Nick Senzel had a big game on Sunday, 2 for 6 with a double dong. Tyler Nevin, who is the son of Phil Nevin, has quietly hit well with the Oakland A's. He went 2 for 5 with a home run on Sunday. Lots of names here. Any interest in these guys in deeper leagues? Nevin, Senzel, Josh Rojas, Santana, Ben Rortvedt, Joey Ortiz, Trey Lipscomb.
Just Ortiz, that's what he's known as on CBS. I think is pretty interesting for deeper leagues. He's like 10% rostered. 4 for 9, 4 walks against the Yankees this weekend. Hasn't been much power or speed, but he did a little bit of both last year at AAA. So I think there's some appeal there. And then
hasn't been playing every day either. I actually dropped Ortiz in the 15 teamers where I had him because of that. Hopefully it'll change. But.
Yeah, I think it's been slowly changing. Yeah. And then I don't know. A lot of these guys have been around for a pretty long time without much interesting. Like, if you're in the type of league where you're considering adding a 2% roster, Ben Rortvedt, then he probably matters. But that's a very small percentage.
Jake Rogers for him, but that tells you the kind of league it is.
I added Joey Bart in one league where both were available. I'd rather have him.
Agree.
A little worried that Henry Davis might be the one who gets sent down when Yasmani Grandal is ready, which might be soon.
Deep league outfielders. Tommy Pham was in the White Sox lineup Friday, started all 3 games. He had 5 hits this weekend. He batted second in each of those. Jacob Young had a huge weekend for the Nationals, 7 hits, 6 runs, 4 RBI, and 4 steals. He is somebody who had 39 steals in the minors last year. He had 52 the year before. Richie Palacios had a huge game on Saturday, 3 for 3 with a sock and 2 shoes. That's a home run and 2 steals. Signs of life from Andrew Benintendi, 3 for 5 with a double dong, 6 RBI on Saturday. And Mike Tauchman stayed hot, 2 for 4 with a 3-run homer on Sunday. Scott, do any of these outfielders matter in deeper leagues? Tauchman, Benintendi, Palacios, Jacob Young, and Tommy Pham.
Well, first of all, Tommy Pham for MVP because the White Sox won all 3 games this weekend. Yep. They had a back-to-back. They scored 17 runs in a 2-game span and pretty much closed the gap on the Athletics for the lowest scoring offense. So he's unstoppable. They're unstoppable. And he's probably the preferred choice of this group. I am interested in what Richie Palacios and Mike Tauchman are doing, but it would have to be a pretty desperate situation for me to turn to them now. In the leagues where I was even considering it, I found options I preferred to them.